Hey guys, so I recently picked up a new Galaxy A5 2017 because I noticed that they were on offer and I wanted to get a black version here, and I wanted to do a video follow up here. Is it still worth it to get the A5 2017, which has come down in price quite significantly. It did launch for quite expensive, but now you can get them for about 200 to 300 euros, so very affordable. And coming with some very nice specs across the board here, particularly if you don't want to pay a flagship price for a smartphone. You're getting the full waterproofing, Gorilla Glass 4, fingerprint sensor Type C, and very nice screen and battery life. So we can just compare here the build quality of the A5 with the S8 here. So you can see the actual build quality is very similar overall. They're both coming with a glass kind of construction. I'd say that if you closed your eyes and held these both in your hand, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference really. Both feel absolutely solid. I think obviously the major difference here is that you're getting a curved display versus a standard bezel display, which some people I don't think will mind actually, having a bezel here compared to the curved display. It does make the phone more durable, because I've noticed some people have been dropping their S8 and cracking it all over the place, so it does give you some peace of mind here. Another great advantage of the A5 is the location of the fingerprint scanner, which is amazing compared to the one on the S8, which I've actually turned off because it's so awful. But you do obviously get your iris scanner and everything on the latest Samsung phones, so there's definitely some improvements I'd say in terms of the screen on the S8, but the actual contrast levels and colors are probably about the same here. So if I just go into this and show on the max brightness, you can see both of them are actually on full HD now, and the actual colors etc about comparable really. So that's another excellent area of the A series, that you're getting pretty much the same technology in terms of the screen real estate, which is pretty good considering the price difference at the end of the day. Obviously they're both coming as well with the full waterproofing and dustproofing Type C, as well as headphone jacks, which is becoming increasingly rare here on phones nowadays. So the A5 still stacks up pretty much when it comes to the build quality, but in terms of the performance, I have found it to be very solid still. It's coming with a very efficient processor, Exynos, which obviously is Samsung's own processor, and it's coming with 3 gigs of RAM, which does give you about 1 gig of RAM to play with, usually on normal operation when everything's closed. So that's holding up pretty well compared to last year, where the A5 was very slow. When it came to, I think it was the Snapdragon model that I did have first, but this one's holding up very well in terms of the performance. Everything opens up very nice and snappy, as you can see. So the gaming you can do on it is probably going to be light gaming, because it's not the most highest end graphics card, but you'll get away with a decent amount of gaming. The main advantage of having a mid-range processor though is in terms of the battery life, which this could be considered a certified battery beast in terms of the longevity, based upon some reviews that you will see, easily lasting nearly as long as the Moto Z Play and things like that. So it's definitely going to beat the S8 in terms of the battery longevity if you do need a long battery phone. So that's another very nice area. I don't actually like the way the phone picks up a lot of fingerprints here when it comes to the build quality, because that is what you do get with glass shiny phones, but I guess if you carry a cloth with you, it's not a huge issue. I do like the way they both have the active display on them as well. It's a very useful feature, showing you notifications etc without turning the display on, and it doesn't drain too much battery as well overall. So the other area to talk about is obviously the camera here, which I do think is a bit disappointing on the device, and probably an area of improvement I would suggest for the next one. This camera I think is 16 megapixel, but it acts more like 10 megapixel, 8 megapixel in terms of the quality. I have compared it with the Moto G5 as well as some other phones, and it's just not that good at the end of the day. It uses contrast detection focusing, which is different from most flagships now with either phase or dual pixel or laser focusing. So the focusing is going to be much slower. It doesn't have optical image stabilization like last year's, so you're going to get a very average camera experience, which will do the job. But if your hand's even the slightest bit of shaky, the image isn't going to be sharp, as you can see. So if you're a camera fan, I'd definitely not recommend the phone. Hopefully for the next one they'll put like an S7 kind of camera in there, because I think they should have put the Galaxy S6 camera in here for a well-rounded phone, especially when you got phones like the Honor 8 and Axon 7 nipping at its mid-range credentials. So overall I'd say it's a very good phone. The other fatal flaw though of the phone is the software, which is still on Android Marshmallow here. Android Marshmallow is obviously ancient now pretty much when it comes to Android. I think we're on Android O nearly, so this is the problem with Samsung. It never updates the A series phone very fast, and that's what you're going to have to deal with when it comes to A phones. It's not a huge issue with Samsung phones because you do get multitasking etc. from Nougat, because it's got the Samsung experience. You do get your blue light filter, and all that good stuff. But it does feel a bit annoying that you're not running the latest software at all times like you do get with the S series. So do bear that in mind. So overall, I'd give this a solid recommendation still. If you're looking for a Samsung phone, I'd say it represents much better value for money than most high-end phones on the market right now. But obviously it's up to you. If you do need the better camera, you are going to get that if you pay more. It's just depending whether you think it's worth twice the price here. I think that the A5 will suit most people, particularly if you're looking for a battery life which is absolutely epic. So I'd probably also avoid the A3, because obviously the A3 2017 is obviously got a little bit cheaper, but for a little bit more you could get the A5, which comes with better processor, more RAM, better camera arguably, and I don't think the A3 is the best value for money. A7 is quite good as well, particularly if you're looking for the best battery life and a slightly bigger screen, but it is quite expensive, and you could probably get a Note 5 or something like that. Just a quick little recap video here of the A5. If you've got any questions or want to know anything, do let me know. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.